What's happening, gamers? Oh man, the sound doesn't sound as good. That's fine. It's a DS game.
It sounds great.
Today is about Poison Ivy.
Oh, great.
Yeah, her origin
Isley.
is tragic and weird.
Yeah, she's a weirdo.
She is kind of a weirdo. So, it's now only Poison Ivy, Two-Face, and Riddler. Everybody else is incarcerated. So it's time for their next part of the plan, to get the botanical plant spore thing.
Let's collect spores, mold, and fungus.
Now, I like to think that Ivy in this game is supposed to be a version or a variant of the animated series.
I like to think that too.
Because the comic books version is weird. There's a reason why we've never talked about Poison Ivy's origin, is because it's insane. Both versions, or three versions
yeah, there's
are
like
insane.
3 different versions are all not very good. I don't like any of the versions, really, and now I can see why Batman and Robin, I think, used one of the versions, kind of, but at the same time, I don't like... I feel like they make her too weak of a character. I'm not even really a big feminist or anything, but, like, they make Ivy very weak.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it, the New 52, like... has her mom get basically killed by her dad and abused, and then, like, what happens? She feels bad about it? Oh,
we'll go over
back.
this
Let's go
in
back
the order
to
of my head. So, in 1988, after Post-Crisis, there was a change of things and a merging of characters, since DC is all one world now and no longer, you know, all these different multiverses.
Yeah.
Because the Flash, Barry Allen is gone, Wally West is now the Flash, and the entire DC world is known as New Earth.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I think I already went too dark already.
Nope. You haven't done anything weird yet. So Poison Ivy is just your normal, run-of-the-mill, kind of like botanist or person. She falls in love with a professor who's a bad guy, and is using a lot of bad drugs and stuff for, not necessarily plant life, but they kind of showed it in the Batman and Robin movie, but it was, like, really quick.
It's like he takes advantage of her, though.
He takes advantage of her, and he takes advantage of her, like,
she's very
research.
Shy and sweet.
Normal girl.
And he's like... Yeah, he basically uses her and then uses her as an experiment. So he basically
he was dating
her.
He kidnaps her, and then he experiments on her for, like, a couple days or something like that. She's
totally, like, yeah, he basically just totally traumatizes her. Like, it's abusive, like, terribly. So, yeah, I mean, like, that just is so... Like, the fact that she's weak, and then when he does that to her, she's even weaker... Like, that seems to be what happens to Ivy in almost every incarnation. Like, she's weak, and then she's weaker, and then she goes insane. Somehow, when she's insane, she ends up stronger and able to do crazy stuff. But I don't understand. Like, I can let you keep talking about it.
You're jumping ahead a little bit. So, after she was experimented on, her mind, well, she was in the hospital for 6 months. It was a very long process after what happened to her and the professor. I forget his name, but he appeared in the Batman and Robin movie very quickly as the guy behind the Bane Venom, which there's no connection whatsoever to
but
Chuck
of course
Dixon's
they
character.
tied it.
Yeah, of course they did, because they wanted to rush everything together. But she was in the hospital for 6 months trying to survive basically what happened to her DNA because of these injections and things like that. When she came to... her mind had gone loopy. She created a split personality. Unknowing, like, there was still the sweet side of Pamela.
So she has, like, a sweet version. So she's kind of like Two-Face, but without the scar.
Exactly. Although her scars are all mental. For whatever reason, it's not really explained why. She goes to Gotham City, and she starts causing problems for Batman because she has a fascination for him. And she does all these crazy crimes that involve plants, and, like, because she's insane, she's trying to populate the world with just plants and get rid of people. Because plants are her friends or whatever.
I wonder if it also has to do with because of her DNA, she can never have kids or whatever.
Yeah, but they only explore that in the animated series. They never, ever brought that up. And you got to remember, Paul Dini is a master writer. So he took a lot of elements from Poison Ivy's introduction in the 60s.
She can go over poison.
Yes, she is a character that can, you know, go over poisons, toxins. She's immune to all that stuff. Poison Ivy was a character that appeared, I believe, in the Silver Age first.
Yeah, but that was
appeared later.
That was a great thing for him to touch on, because if you think about it, that might be part of part. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things that make her go crazy, but that might be one of the things underlying, like, that guy did to her, like, because he injected her, she could never have a normal life.
Well, they couldn't do that origin because it was a show that was Saturday mornings.
Yeah, it's... The origin is just freaky.
In fact, Poison Ivy in the animated series does not have an origin as to why she's immune to toxins, poisons. They never explain what happened to her.
And I think, like, I don't know if it's a comic or I don't know if maybe it's the animated series thing, is that I think Harvey Dent did something to some of the land that one of her plants was on or something.
She's a crazy eco-terrorist in the animated series.
She's an eco-terrorist.
In the comics, she's not an eco-terrorist.
Yeah.
This is Paul Dini trying to make Poison Ivy more villain-like. In fact, in the comic books, Poison Ivy would appear a little bit in the 80s, a little bit in the 90s. She was mostly incarcerated inside of Arkham Asylum for the longest time. She was a crazy split personality lady.
Can I say what I don't like about her at all, like all her origins? Okay, I actually think she's a more strong person in the animated series. Like, she's able to, like, basically go on dates with the most, like, powerful men in Gotham and everything. Like, she's, you know, like a 40s siren and everything. She's cool. Like, you would even want, like, girls would want an action figure of her. She's awesome. But, like, in every other incarnation, she's not cool. Like, she's just weak, and I don't like that.
She was paired with a lot of male characters in the series. The only time that Poison Ivy really came on her own, I would say, is during the Cataclysm arc, where Gotham City has experienced a massive earthquake. Poison Ivy appears again, and it kind of involves what she did in Convergence, where she created this massive garden.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point before the earthquake and after Batman came back and, you know, the whole Nightfall thing, Poison Ivy isn't really around much in the 90s. After she escapes Arkham and before Harley Quinn is added into the comic book world, she goes to a deserted island and creates, like, a new Garden of Eve that is filled with vegetables and plant life, and, you know, she hangs out with animals, and she's not really an interesting character anymore. She disappears for, like, a good 5-6 years.
You know why I don't, like, really relate to Poison Ivy, though, is because, like, you know, like I was saying to you before, like, if there was, like, Slugman or, like, Leafman, it wouldn't be very interesting. And, like, Batman is cool because bats are cool, but it's like, plants are lame. I'm sorry, but it's just, like, really lame.
But you are forgetting one reason. There's a very important reason why Poison Ivy becomes more mainstream, and it's because of her stories that were adapted in the animated series. When she had a complete origin change, the character came back from her island. She ends up doing stuff in Cataclysm where instead of hurting the citizens of Gotham, when basically the rogues are acting like most people today during political events or day-to-day things where they just riot all the time. Yeah. Rather than rioting, she finds a group of orphans, I believe like 16 kids.
She tries to help people who are like part of the aftermath of all the
She creates vegetable life, and she makes a garden, and she helps people. And on more than one occasion, she works with Batman and his team and Catwoman, and she starts developing friendships with other females. And I believe around here is when Harley Quinn is introduced into the mainstream comics.
And then the reason why she's trying to do all this stuff, I guess, is so that she can make a place where she can live away from humankind because she hates humans. Or something.
She doesn't hate humans in the comic books. That's the animated series. Because she actually raises these 16 orphans. She protects them against Clayface. She protects them against, like, all kinds of crazy bad guys. And then when one of her children ends up dying because of being around Poison Ivy, because her skin is changing color and she's starting to develop more plant powers. She actually contacts Bruce Wayne and has him arrive and take some of the orphans away. And then the two of them develop kind of like a little romance, and he starts to take away her powers. But the problem is, by removing her green skin and the DNA, what they don't know that's happening to her is she's actually dying. And so during this process where they're trying to remove her abilities and make her human again so she can adopt her kids legally and change her life, she ends up dying in the process. And at the end of the issue, it shows like Ivy growing on her grave. Like, did she really die? Is she? So she disappears for several years again. She's not used. Harley Quinn doesn't know what's up with her or anything. And then randomly, right before the 1 year later arc, she appears again, and she's a bad guy. Well, not really a bad guy. There are some corrupt police officers that go to the orphanage she created, and they kill 2 of her children to get to Ivy for whatever reason.
Wow.
And Ivy comes back through the ground like Swamp Thing, looking like she did before, though she has more plant powers than ever before.
Yeah.
And she basically wipes them out and then becomes kind of a bad guy for a while. Eventually, when Dick Grayson is Batman, she ends up working with the Bat family as kind of an anti-hero. She joins the Birds of Prey, and she kind of looks more humanoid again, but not really,
Yeah, I don't really understand the thing where she can get a guy, like, seduce the guy to kiss her so that she can poison him if her skin is green. Like, she would have to look, like, somewhat normal for a guy to want to kiss her like that. Right. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And then the New 52 has taken Poison Ivy in a completely different route. They turn her into a sickly child that has some type of disease that causes her skin to be very pale or greenish. Think about, like, the color from the second incarnation of Batman the Animated Series, the Red Sky series, which they actually took from the comics. Ivy was turning green.
Yeah.
So they incorporated the plant powers and all that other stuff. And in the New 52, she's a sickly girl, like you were saying, and the father killed the mother. Ivy gets revenge and kills her own father using, like, she kisses him on the cheek and it poisons him or something like that.
Yeah.
She manipulates her professor or teacher or something like that not to drop her out of school. So she's developing mind-controlled drugs, and it's never really explained how she becomes a bad guy. She just...
Didn't she spill drugs on herself, too?
She was working for Wayne Enterprises, and she gets fired.
And she was working on drugs she wasn't supposed to be working on, like
mind-controlled drugs, yeah. She also had a crush on Bruce Wayne. I mean, what female doesn't? And
I know, right?
She's being escorted out of the building, like, Eddie Nigma from the Batman Forever movie or whatever. And she accidentally spills the chemicals all over herself, and he puts her in the hospital, and she turns into Poison Ivy, hates Bruce Wayne, hates Wayne Enterprises, goes insane, and that's the Ivy we have.
Yeah.
The only difference is they incorporate her friendship with Harley. They make them super best friends, and occasionally she helps out Batman because she thinks Batman is amazing.
Well, okay, fine. And then in the 60s, her dad got killed by something, and she's angry about that, and her mom and her have to move somewhere.
They move to the south.
So it's like she has like 3 completely different backstories depending on what time. But it's
the only constant with her is because, remember, she was created for the Silver Age, so she was going to be a goofy character, and they wanted to play with her origin and stuff for the 4th season of the Adam West show that got canceled. So she became a Southern Belle that had plant powers. They don't explain how.
Yeah.
They were going to do some crazy stuff in the 4th season of the Batman.
Yeah.
And, she's just weird.
Can I say how I would change her origin if I could totally change her to anything I wanted, like, to make it better?
You would do what they did in the animated series.
I would do what they did in the animated series, like, where she actually is about to get a family and a life. Like, I liked that idea where she had kids, but I feel like it makes her too weird and cat lady and weirdish, like weird aunt or something. Like, I would want her to be like a real human, like, actually, like, Mr. Freeze, he has Nora. Like, it keeps him like connected to reality. Like, you feel for him because he loves Nora. If she has no love interest, and it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if she actually had like a nice gardener or a nice professor guy maybe who tried to save her or something, like that would be amazing. Like, kind of how you think that she has a nice life, like in the animated series in that one episode, but then I didn't realize that she turned him into a plant.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought that she actually was trying to settle down.
I gotta say that this is animated series Ivy because she loves plants.
Yeah.
And also notice how her personality goes back and forth.
Yeah. Well,
But I loved Ivy's tantrums in the animated series. Like, she would go from this sweet, like, kind of 40s girl to, like, the frustrated thing, and then she'd be like, ahem, and she would, like, fluff her hair and be all like...
She's so different, though. It's hard for me to imagine somebody who looks like a 40s, like, bombshell to be shy. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
I didn't see her shy in the animated series.
I know, but she wasn't. That's what I'm saying. I like her like that. Like, I don't like, in all the comics and origin stories I read, they say she's really shy, she gets abused and used by people. I don't like that. Mm-hmm. I like her to be more strong. Like, say she was really strong, then she got tormented by her professor. She was strong, then she got weak, then she came back strong. That would be more exciting than she was just weak and then she got weaker and now she's insane. That's kind of lame. I like her strong, and then she gets twisted, like Batman was kind of messed up, and then she comes back even stronger. That would be my origin for her.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
So we are on the last level of the Riddler, Bullion dollar, I guess.
Yeah.
Billion.
I would add a love interest. I think it would make Ivy better.
She had a boyfriend in 1988. I thought it was Alec Holland, the guy who becomes Swamp Thing, but it's just some generic boyfriend who gets killed and she goes insane. I believe the guy who kidnapped her was the one responsible for taking out her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was some tragedy involved, but, like...
Yeah, I mean, I think even Harley... I mean, I'm not saying girls have to have a guy to make them, like, more relatable, but her in particular, it's like... She's so weird that you need some kind of reality. Like, plants is lame. Like, you need something else. And also, what else is her personality? Does she like going dancing? Is she like, does she enjoy playing checkers? I mean, what other than plants? You have to have other things than plants. You don't just sit around and grow things. What does she do for the rest of the day?
She's just a botanist.
No, that is a lame personality. I'm sorry.
And all the botanists have unsubscribed.
There are no botanists watching this.
There aren't now.
No, wait. Botanist, you have other things you enjoy. Does she watching old movies? I mean, there are other things that you like.
They don't really ever dive into the characters.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I don't know who she is. She has no personality.
She's a crazy plant lady that likes wearing skin-tight clothing.
But plants take a long time to grow. You have to do other things when you're waiting for the plants to grow.
You found other things that she liked to do in the animated series. She listened to music. She went shopping.
All right, yeah, she likes to go shopping. There you go. I just would like to. Harley has so many more like personality.
The best episode
points to her personality
that we learn about Ivy is not Pretty Poison, and it's not the episode where she did the Eternal Youth. It's the Harley and Ivy episode because we see that.
All right, so
her favorite type of juice is beet juice. Well. Actually, I believe Poison Ivy is being looked at by Megan Fox, and she's going to be the best friend of Harley Quinn.
No.
Because you have to remember that the Harley Quinn movie is essentially a Birds of Prey movie. It's an all-female movie with, I think, a Batman cameo.
But I said I wanted her to be a cool, strong character, not Megan Fox.
I know.
Like somebody who actually had self-respect for herself before she got poisoned. No.
Oh, well.
She's a botanist.
Yeah.
She actually, thinks about other things than her hair. She can't be played by Megan Fox.
Getting back to the story. So in the animated series, she likes beet juice, she eats salads, she grows all her own vegetables.
She doesn't sound very fun. She sounds lame.
Well, she's your typical... I'm not going to say it. But she's essentially what... I want to say
Okay, fine.
So
okay,
much.
I'll tell you what. I was actually friends with a lot of girls that were straight-A students in science and, growing things. But they had other things they liked. Like, they would watch nerdy movies or... there's other things. You can never just be one thing. She has to have other parts to her personality.
She likes stealing.
Yeah, I guess she's like a thief. Alright, I guess I just can't relate to the character.
No, you can't. Catwoman's
Because
more interesting. Harley Quinn is way more interesting.
I don't have the patience to grow plants all day and focus on that. I just don't.
The only way you can make Poison Ivy, like, interesting is if you did a variation of her origin.
Yeah, Catwoman is more interesting.
And if you combined... I had a feeling that what they'll do, since they combined the New 52 and the Paul Dini origin of Harley Quinn, that the Poison Ivy origin that we'll get, or, like, flashback, will be a mixture of the Professor torturing her, and also that she was born with some type of illness, and as she was transformed with all these poisons, she was cured for whatever disease she was born with.
Yeah.
So that she's able to... Because in the New 52, when she's around...
you're saying she was weak and then the poisons made her strong.
Exactly.
But still, I just feel like she has to have some kind of inner strength or something, and it just, I mean, I understand what they're doing, but it just feels unrealistic to me. Like, I just don't, you can't, like, be a weak person, then go insane, then the insanity makes you strong. I feel like like, what makes you strong is who you are before you're injected. Like, it just, or maybe it's like she was always strong, but she couldn't be strong on the outside because she was sickly. I don't know.
I'm saying if you combine for the movies her 1988 origin, not her original one, because her original one is weird. If you take her Silver Age origin, it doesn't work. If you take the Adam West origin, it doesn't work. Stay away from Batman 66. Stay away from the Silver Age. Focus on 1988, like the Swamp Thing / Pamela Isley story. Who Pamela was. What she aspired to be. She didn't want to just be a botanist. She wanted to do some other things.
All right. I would make her like...
But make her that sickly kid.
All right. You know what I would make her to make her more interesting? Make her an artist. Make her either a singer or a painter. That would make her interesting. I don't know. Because those people take a long time to do things, too.
But does that, like, really work in today's world? Besides, we already had a homicidal artist. It was a Joker, like, in the 80s. Since then, he's been, like, redesigned.
Alright, maybe I'm just thinking because she's a 40s bombshell, she could be, like, a singer or something.
All I'm gonna say is, well,
or
actually,
an actress.
You're thinking about Batman Brave and the Bold.
That would be interesting.
Because in Batman Brave and the Bold, that version of Poison Ivy was, like, an entertainer.
Oh. No, actually, I didn't even realize that. See, that would work. Or if she was like a Korean dramedy star on the side.
The 2004... I would actually love to see a Korean, like, K-drama lead, like, be Poison Ivy. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, totally.
Because you have, like, that very mysterious, like...
Yeah, I mean, K-dramas people can play anything, actually. They can make anything interesting.
I can't see Megan Fox playing dual roles of, like...
I don't know. She could not be a sweet botanist.
She would just walk in the room, and I can't even see her playing somebody that would be, like, quote, shy and
I cannot see Megan Fox being in the room with a plant for more than 10 minutes without killing it.
That too.
I don't want Megan Fox to be Poison Ivy.
Well, there's nothing we can do. Apparently she's, you know...
I will stand outside and protest.
She's friends with Margot Robbie. Or Robert, or whatever.
Oh, well, whatever.
Oh, having that security system on was a good thing.
Guys. Are there any good girls in the Batman universe? I'm trying to think of them.
Katana.
Oh, yeah.
Batgirl. Spoiler.
Mask of the Phantasm girl.
I don't... There's a reason why that character she was not adapted into the comics.
She's a good girl, except for the fact where she hurt somebody.
Andrea Beaumont has never appeared outside the animated universe and never will. Never will. Just like Red Claw never will.
I like her, though. She's cool.
Yeah.
She's nice.
But that's an aspect of a creation that doesn't work, though. So you have to think about it that way.
I don't understand how it doesn't work, though.
Doesn't work for mainstream. Worked for one universe, and, you know, the Phantasm will always be part of that universe, but she's not a character that will go over well. I mean, I don't know if she...
because she kills people?
I did not pay attention to the New 52 comics, so I don't know if she was ever brought into it, but I followed the pre-52 a lot. Yay, red brick!
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that she was never in it. Outside of the Batman Beyond universe...
Sad.
Which they did bring the Batman Beyond universe into the mainstream comics.
Yeah.
But, you know, she never appeared other than that.
I'm just glad... Yeah, Katana actually was cool in the Suicide Squad, so I'm just glad somebody cool played her.
I would like to see in the Harley Quinn movie, Poison Ivy, Batgirl, Black Canary, And
Black Canary.
Probably, well, she's a member of the Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Another female character that would work as a hero, probably Katana, because Katana was a reserve member of the Birds of Prey.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And Katana really didn't have that big of a role in Suicide Squad, so I would have her come back for...
Magpie.
Magpie's a villain.
Oh, sadness.
All right, and now. Yay! Huh. That was kind of lame.
Yeah, so I think they could make Poison Ivy better. I don't feel like she got a very good origin story in any of her origins.
Well, you have to think of it this way. Whatever person uses it next is going to be the best version of Poison Ivy. Because they really don't have that far to go to make it better than
Batman and Robin.
Right.
That was the worst outfit ever. I'm sorry, but the best outfit ever, everyone knows, is the animated series. She looks...
The classic one.
She looks great in that. Like, I wanted to be Poison Ivy. I was like, oh my gosh, Poison Ivy's so beautiful. And I didn't even think she was a bad guy when I first saw her. I was like, oh, she's dating Harvey Dent. This is so nice. And then it's like, oh my gosh, wait, something's really wrong here. That's the cool thing about Poison Ivy in the animated series. That's what I wish they would do.
I don't like her being an eco-terrorist, though.
No, I don't like the eco-terrorist, but I like the idea where you don't know she's evil. Like, that's cool. Like, you think she's good. Like, if she was a model or something, you know, like, you would think, like, oh, wow. Just like Bruce Wayne. Everyone wants to date Bruce Wayne. That'd be cool if they made, like, Poison Ivy that kind of person.
Like a Mary Jane character?
Yeah, like that. And then you had no idea. You think she's the girl next door, but she's not. She's a Mary Jane character, but she's not. She's an anti-Mary Jane character.
Anti-Mary Jane character, okay.
Exactly. Like,
right.
She's Mary Jane on the outside, but not on the inside. There you go.
Okay.
That's what I would do. There.
Very interesting.
What is it with redheads? I just don't know.
I don't know. There's something mysterious about redheads. You're a strawberry blonde, though. You're not like a typical blonde.
I'm just like, I've got a little red.
Yep. The feistiness.
No, I'm the...
Redheads are not passive. I'm sorry.
What? I'm totally passive.
Oh!
I never get passionate or excited about anything at all about my favorite character or Megan Fox playing Poison Ivy. I'm totally cool.
Rumored to play. It hasn't happened yet. But you have to put two and two together. If she is really, really going after this role because her friend is in the movie. She is friends with Harley Quinn in real life. So the on-screen chemistry of the BFFs would not be fake. That could work. However, Megan's acting
is terrible.
Right. It's wooden, leafy. So
how could Margot Robbie, who can actually act, be friends with someone who cannot act at all?
I don't know how it works.
I guess it doesn't take
Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, you can be friends with anyone. It's not like you have to be a good actor to sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody. That's not too hard. Or whatever they drink in Hollywood.
I don't know.
Air.
They drink air. Okay, so they're air vampires.
Well, it seems like
I don't know. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. With all the crazy stuff going on with Ben Affleck's Batman movie, whether or not he's going to play Batman, he's not directing it now. They're going to bring in some other directors. They're getting rid of the Hush script.
I just would like to see Ivy with personality and not have her the typical uptight woman that usually sits there and is obsessed with plants. Okay, I don't want her to be insane and weird.
There is a version of Poison Ivy that would work very well on the main screen, and that is Arkham Ivy.
Yeah, she had some heart to her, actually, because she tried to help at the end. That's exactly her personality.
So there you go, guys and gals. That does it for the... whatever
this is! Woohoo!
Bullion.
That was our discussion on Ivy, so let us know in the comments what you think would be cool for a live-action Ivy.
Don't worry, we'll do a better lore when Ivy is a playable character in Injustice 2.
Yeah,
so. This is just us messing around.
Talking.
So, yeah.
Just sitting around talking.
Alrighty, so we are totally done with Riddler, so that means tomorrow will be the Penguin. It's actually pretty exciting. So anyway, guys and gals, that does it for this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming.
See ya!